Title: The Awakening of Arachne. It was a particularly dreary autumn in the quiet town of Eldergrove, where the chill in the air seemed almost too thick for breath. The gray clouds hung low, squeezing the last remnants of warmth from the dying year. Tucked away in its heart stood an ancient library, abandoned for decades, remembered only in whispers of local folklore. Lurking amongst the dust-covered shelves and cobwebbed corners was a tale steeped in dark legend, the story of Arachne. The myth spoke of a woman cursed by the gods, gifted with the uncanny skill to weave but turned into a monstrous spider for her hubris. Some days, she was merely a shadowy specter, and on others, a ravenous creature whose webs ensnared lost souls. The townsfolk had long dismissed it as folklore, until one fateful night when curiosity charmed three adventurous teens to explore the library's haunted depths. Josie, armed with a tattered flashlight, led her friends, Amir and Leah, into the eerie building. "Come on, it'll be fun," she urged, ignoring Leah's protests about the dark corners that held not just stories but something sinister. The doors creaked ominously as they stepped inside, swallowed by the silence. The air seemed heavier, laden with the scent of mildew and something foul. Dust motes danced listlessly in their handheld beam, and the wooden floor creaked beneath their feet like an old man yawning. They made their way to the back, where the mustiest sections of the library lay. Rows of forgotten tomes stared down at them, with titles barely legible through the grime. Amir chose a book that seemed less dusty than the others, its cover barely claiming to be leather. "Look at this, The Curse of Arachne." He flipped through the pages, excitement glimmering in his eyes, despite Leah's increasingly nervous glances around. "It says she was trapped between realms. But if her web is found, the curse might be undone. Quote, or set her free," Leah whispered darkly, the weight of ancient words thickening the air. But they ignored her foreboding tone, entranced by discovering more. Ignoring the chilling drafts that whispered warnings through the gaps in the windows, they gathered their courage and recited an incantation that could whisk Arachne back into the shadows. A faint tremor ran through the building as they recited the final words aloud, but laughter soon erupted when nothing occurred. "Told you it was all nonsense," Josie snorted, nudging Amir to put the book back. But as she turned to leave, something in the corner of her eye caught her attention. The shadows had shifted. The air was electric, and the temperature plunged. The book in Amir's hand trembled, pages flapping wildly like a bird in a storm. Suddenly, a low growl erupted from the back of the library, a guttural sound that resonated with an unsettling familiarity. They turned as one, hearts pounding, eyes wide with terror. Emerging from the darkness, unspooled by whispers and half-formed shadows, was Arachne. Her human form was gone. In its place loomed a giant spindly figure with elongated limbs and grotesquely contorted joints. A mass of dark hair cascaded like a silken wave, her eyes mere glimmers of unearthly light. And behind her, a lattice of webs unfurled, glistening with an unnatural sheen. "Foolish children," a voice dripped from her cruel lips, a blend of silk and venom. "You have called me forth into the world, and now, you will pay the price." Amir fumbled backward, dropping the book. The moment it hit the ground, the webs detached from the walls, snaring his ankle, followed by Amar's scream that pierced the eerie stillness. The webs thickened, wrapping around his legs, binding him fast. "No, let him go," Josie yelled, clutching Leah's arm. They turned to run, but Arachne was quicker. With movements too smooth and too fast to comprehend, she lunged, grabbing Leah and pulling her towards the jagged fangs that twisted into a mocking grin. In a blind panic, Josie grabbed a dusty old vase from a nearby shelf and swung it at the monstrous figure. It shattered against Arachne's side, producing a shriek like the tearing of flesh. The creature recoiled, momentarily releasing Leah as she fell to the ground in terror. "Stop, you're just adding to my collection," Arachne roared, venom dripping from her mandibles. She lunged again, mouth agape, but Josie yanked Leah to her feet, darting toward the wooden door, the only thin hope left for escape. The webs lunged at them like serpents with a will of their own, but the two girls tore through the splintered door just in time. The instant they left the threshold, the library groaned, as if it were a living entity mourning their exit. Behind them, they heard the ominous roar of Arachne, echoing into the dark night. They ran, not daring to look back, pulsing fear driving them to their safe haven. But as they sprinted away, Josie couldn't shake the feeling that maybe they hadn't just awakened a monster, but unleashed a new chapter in Eldergrove's ancient curse. Arachne's legend would linger in town, murmurs exchanged on moonlit nights, a reminder of the cost of curiosity. In the depths of the shadows, within the corner of their minds, they could still feel her hungry gaze fixed upon them, waiting for the perfect moment to strike.